The mainstream media's portrayal of global warming has become a contentious issue in recent years, with some arguing that it is being used as a tool to oppress Christians. While this claim may seem far-fetched at first, a closer examination of the media's narrative and tactics reveals a more sinister plot to undermine Christian values and beliefs. One of the primary ways in which the media uses global warming to oppress Christians is by perpetuating a false narrative that Christianity is inherently anti-environmental. This notion is often based on a flawed interpretation of biblical scripture, which is taken out of context to suggest that Christians are obligated to exploit the earth's resources without regard for the consequences. However, this is a gross misrepresentation of Christian teachings, which emphasize the importance of stewardship and responsible management of God's creation. The media's portrayal of Christians as anti-environmental is often accompanied by accusations of science denial and ignorance. Christians who express skepticism about the severity of global warming or the effectiveness of proposed solutions are frequently mocked and ridiculed, with their views being dismissed as uninformed and ignorant. This tactic is designed to intimidate and silence Christians, making them feel ashamed to express their opinions or question the prevailing narrative. Furthermore, the media's emphasis on global warming has led to a culture of moral superiority, in which those who embrace the prevailing narrative are seen as virtuous and enlightened, while those who question it are viewed as selfish and destructive. This has created a sense of moral obligation, in which individuals feel pressured to conform to the dominant view in order to avoid being ostracized or marginalized. For Christians, this can be particularly problematic, as it creates a conflict between their faith and their desire to be seen as morally upright. The media's use of global warming to oppress Christians is also evident in the way it targets Christian leaders and organizations. Christian groups that express skepticism about global warming or propose alternative solutions are often subject to intense scrutiny and criticism, with their views being misrepresented and distorted. This is designed to discredit and undermine the influence of Christian leaders, making it more difficult for them to mobilize their followers and shape public opinion. In addition, the media's narrative on global warming has been used to justify policies and initiatives that infringe upon Christian values and freedoms. For example, the push for renewable energy and reduced carbon emissions has led to increased taxation and regulation, which can disproportionately affect Christian businesses and organizations. Similarly, the emphasis on environmentalism has been used to justify restrictions on religious freedom, such as limiting the use of sacred spaces or prohibiting certain religious practices. It is also worth noting that the media's narrative on global warming is often shaped by a secular and humanistic worldview, which is inherently at odds with Christian values and beliefs. The emphasis on human-caused climate change and the need for collective action to mitigate its effects reflects a perspective that sees human beings as the primary cause of problems and the primary solution. This is in contrast to the Christian worldview, which sees God as the creator and sustainer of the universe, and humanity's relationship with the environment as one of stewardship and responsibility. In conclusion, the mainstream media's use of global warming to oppress Christians is a complex and multifaceted issue. By perpetuating a false narrative, intimidating and silencing Christians, creating a culture of moral superiority, targeting Christian leaders and organizations, justifying policies that infringe upon Christian values and freedoms, and promoting a secular and humanistic worldview, the media is able to undermine Christian influence and shape public opinion. As Christians, it is essential that we are aware of these tactics and are prepared to respond with a clear and compelling message that reflects our values and beliefs. By doing so, we can help to create a more nuanced and balanced conversation about global warming, one that takes into account the complexities and nuances of the issue, and promotes a more just and equitable solution.